Alright, my guys, here we are again. So, I had a thought, and I guess I haven't seen anybody really bring it up, and I haven't seen this example before, and I haven't seen this theory before about black holes. So, a little bit on my background for understanding black holes. Um, I guess everybody's history channel and Net Geo is where I guess they got the half of their information. For me, the other half I got from my Study of the Universe course I took while I was in high school, but it was a college course. So I thought it was pretty cool. Long story, stuff happened in school, and I got pretty much to a point where I was ahead, and I basically like just graduated early. So I just basically graduated like 2 months early. So they were like, "Hey, you what do you want to do? You still got to be here." So I took Study the Universe, an elective course for our local community college. And black holes were pretty interesting. And my teacher, who was basically our science teacher, because I was the only kid in class who was just like, well, I got nothing to do. He was just like, bro, this is an interesting course. Let's talk about it. So it was like I wasn't used to this, like, hey teacher, yeah, you're trying to be cool with me. Like, this dude was cool as shit. But anyway, what I'm getting at, we started talking about the theory of like neutrinos and whatnot, and if you know about that, cool. If you don't, look them up. It's a little bit terrifying. But the thing with black holes is I have this theory on it to where I guess I would have to go on my theory of humanity and why we're here, but that's another video. Um, I'll slowly work my way into that. But for black holes, uh, so you know how they have scaled civilizations that could be out there in the universe, and you're like, okay, well, yeah, they how much energy that they can actually use around them, depends on their tier of where they're at. I can't think of it's the something scale. Uh, but humans haven't even reached level one, or humanity as we know it. So I thought about this, and it's like, okay, they said with the Dyson sphere, you can capture the energy of a sun. It's like, okay, well, in theory, if you're able to capture a sun, that's great. I know people can jump to conclusions and say, then, oh yeah, well, if you can collapse the star, then you can somehow harness all energy by creating a black hole, get everything out of it. It's like, yes, but no. So instead of capturing the energy around something and then pulling it out, what if you trapped yourself inside of something producing energy and trapped yourself inside of it? Then what? Then you can forever take that energy. Like, if we found a way to put ourselves in the center of the sun, it is always pushing down, we could harness all that energy. Think about that. If we just had a system that was constantly being pushed down, and unless you use the energy, you just get crushed. So it's like, that's a pretty good way to get energy. Instead of just trying to capture it from the outside, you're thinking about it in reverse. It's like, okay, so now you're using, instead of trying to force physics your way, you're just capturing it. You're letting it use its own weight against itself. I mean, it's the whole theory with gravity, but if you put everything in the center, like, would that same force come down? So, I'm not an expert on it, but for the theory of a black hole, how could we create the most efficient fueling system in the known universe, period? It's like, well, I don't know. How would we do that? We can capture entire galaxies worth of, power. It's like, yeah, but what about even bigger than that? It's like, well, what can be bigger than that? So then capture the universe? It's like, yes. Yes, it's exactly what you'd be looking for. So what if you could build a dome that was so dense so that nothing can destroy it? Because you gotta think things are moving really fast across space. Can you imagine if like just a quasar shot off and it's like, oh, it's gonna destroy the planet. What do we do? Do we dodge it? And what if you're just like, no, we got armor that can stop it, absorb it? It's like, what? Yeah, and then we'll consume it and use it. It's like, how do you plan on doing that? It's like, yeah, think about that. Think about something that says, hey, this is where we grab. Any material that comes near us, we're just gonna grab it, suck it in, be used for fuel. I mean, that'd be a really efficient machine. It's like, no, not efficient enough. We'll make it time efficient too. We'll warp time itself so we can slowly consume those things as we need it. So, if we're running out of fuel, we can just speed things up or slow things down. So basically, time travel, it's like yes and no, because it depends on where and when we'll need those resources. So it's a little bit weird. It's like, so how would you design this? It's like, well, that's the theory here. So I would say that is what a black hole is. It would be the perfect power source if you lived inside of it. Think about it. It can be, because it can be infinitely small or infinitely huge on the inside if you look at the physics of it. So I mean, what can stop you at that point? It's a perfect dome to shield you from anything and everything. And it's like, well, it absorbs light. It's like, exactly, it absorbs light. So it will never be dark on the inside because it's always pulling in light from the fabric of time and space everywhere around it. It's always pulling in the light. Well, it takes up space. It does, but it doesn't. It efficiently uses all of the space. So we really don't know what's going on inside of it. We can say, well, it's really this big. When you think about it, it's like, well, it's this big, but what if it's that big, but on this scale? It's all perception. So it's got a lot of room to really work as far as space, time. It's got plenty of room to work as far as space and time goes. And then, pulling light, pulling energy, it can be immensely hot or immensely cold. So what if black holes are actually just advanced civilizations that were just like, hey, you know what? You can either be out here or you can be in one of these. And maybe it was like, I don't know, maybe it was just like some civilization or civilizations or things or a thing, or maybe it was humanity's past that created arcs that were basically black holes. I don't know. You go, oh, when we see stars in the sky and they collapse and they turn into a supernova, some of them just collapse and they turn into black holes. They go, well, then how do you know? No, actually, how do you know that's just not a continuation of what's been going on? What if there's things out there that are just like, ooh, this star looks ripe for the picking. So, how many neutrons would we have to shoot at this to get this to collapse? It's like, oh, well, just this. It's like, oh, extremely efficient. Let's do it. And you're watching this. You're like, oh, this can go supernova any day. It might even turn into a black hole. And you just starts blows up in the sky, and we're looking at it like, hey, look at that. And you go, less than a light year away from it, and you just got these guys with the clipboard just like, all right, you ready to capture this one? All right, prepare to pull all the civilizations in. We're gonna go ahead and go into deep sleep and fire ourselves into this black hole that we're creating. We'll be forever trapped in this dome. This will be another step for our civilization. And it's not like it's like random. They're probably just like shooting off beams of radiation from their black hole to other black holes that are just like keeping news like, hey, yeah, this is how we keep in contact now. It's like, what about the outside reality? It's like, who cares? It's all fuel. It's all fuel, right? And you're like, well, then how do they get it back? It's like, oh, well, they just emit, energy off as it's used, which will be recollected later on. Which, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that would make sense. I don't know. This is a little bit about my black hole theory. So, I mean, if you're more interested in it, just let me know down below. And, I'll probably go deeper into it and all of my other theories on whatever the hell this thing is we call existence. I don't know. It's just weird stuff. But, if that concept makes any sense to you, just think about this. Where does space end? Can you really reach it? Where does the fabric of time and space end? I don't know, could you really reach it? What if I said that whole black hole thing? What if they could have other black holes inside of those black holes because of the infinite space? It's like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. Well, think about this. If we can actually look at black holes in our immediate space, who's to say we're not already in one? I mean, think about it. Look out, where does it end? Can light come in? I don't know. We really don't know the inside of a black hole, so what if we are in one? I don't know. It's just kind of weird. But anyway, I feel like that would make sense, I would assume. So I don't know. That's it for this video. Just think about it. Think about it.